It's 2 in the morning in Columbia, Missouri, and Kent Heitholt is lying face down on the asphalt behind his own newspaper office. His skull is fractured. His belt is wrapped around his neck. He is dead, and the parking lot is quiet again. Police arrive, process the scene, pull prints, collect DNA. And they get nothing. No suspect, no motive, no arrest. The case goes cold for 2 years. Then a 20-year-old college student walks into a police station and says he knows who did it. He knows because he dreamed it. Kent Heitholt is 48 years old, a beloved sports editor at the Columbia Daily Tribune in Columbia, Missouri. He's a family man, 2 kids, a career built on deadline nights and Friday football coverage. On the night of November the 1st, 2001, he finishes his shift, walks out the back door of the newspaper building, and never makes it to his car. Someone beats him with a tire tool and strangles him with his own belt. His body is found by a co-worker just after 2 a.m. Police canvass the area. They interview Tribune employees. They run the fingerprints found on Heitholt's car. Nothing comes back to anyone in the system. For 2 full years, the murder of Kent Heitholt remains one of Columbia's most haunting unsolved crimes. But the answer, when it finally comes, will be more haunting than the silence ever was. In 2003, a young man named Charles Erickson is drinking with friends when he starts talking about a murder. He says he's been having dreams, vivid dreams, dreams about killing someone in a parking lot. He tells people he thinks the dreams might be memories, that maybe he and his high school friend, Ryan Ferguson, went out drinking on Halloween night 2001, blacked out, and murdered Kent Heitholt. He doesn't remember doing it. He just feels like maybe he did. His friends are disturbed enough that word reaches police. And when detectives sit Erickson down, they don't treat his story like the ramblings of a troubled kid with a drinking problem. They treat it like a confession. Here's what makes this case so deeply unsettling. Erickson has no actual memory of committing a murder. He has dreams. He has anxiety. He has guilt that seems to come from nowhere. But during police interrogation, details begin to crystallize. Detectives feed him information. They show him crime scene photos. And slowly, Erickson's dream transforms into a narrative. He says he and Ferguson were at a nearby bar that night. He says they left, encountered Heitholt in the parking lot, and things turned violent. He says Ferguson did the strangling. He says he himself struck Heitholt with the tire tool. He provides details that align with the crime scene, details he could only know because investigators are giving them to him in real time. Erickson takes a plea deal. He pleads guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for a 25-year sentence and agrees to testify against Ryan Ferguson. Ferguson, meanwhile, is stunned. He's a clean-cut college student at the University of Missouri with no criminal record, no history of violence, no connection to Kent Heitholt whatsoever. He says he was at the bar that night with Erickson. Yes, but he says they went home. He says nothing happened. He says Erickson is wrong. The trial comes in 2005. The prosecution's case rests on 3 pillars. First, Erickson's testimony. Second, 2 janitors from the Tribune building, Jerry Trump and Michael Boyd, who say they saw 2 young men in the parking lot that night and identify Ferguson as one of them. Third, the sheer confidence with which the state presents its story. What the jury does not hear is this: no physical evidence ties Ryan Ferguson to the crime. The fingerprints on Heitholt's car do not match Ferguson. The DNA does not match Ferguson. The hair found in the victim's hand does not match Ferguson. None of it matches. The jury convicts him anyway. Second-degree murder and robbery. He is sentenced to 40 years in prison. He is 21 years old. Ryan Ferguson's father, Bill Ferguson, refuses to accept the verdict. He launches a campaign that will consume the next decade of his life. He writes letters. He contacts journalists. He creates a website. He appears on television. He does everything a father can do when the system has swallowed his son whole. And slowly, the case begins to crack. In 2009, Jerry Trump, one of the janitor eyewitnesses, recants. He says he never actually saw Ryan Ferguson that night. He says prosecutors coached his identification. He says he was pressured into pointing at the defendant in the courtroom. Then Michael Boyd recants too, telling investigators he only identified Ferguson after being shown his photograph repeatedly before trial. And then comes the moment that changes everything. Charles Erickson, the man whose dream started all of this, recants his testimony. He says Ryan Ferguson was never in that parking lot. He says Ferguson never touched Kent Heitholt. He says he lied, that he built a false memory out of fragments and fear and police suggestion, and he dragged an innocent man into prison with him. In 2013, a Missouri appeals court overturns Ryan Ferguson's conviction. The ruling is devastating for the prosecution. The court finds that prosecutors withheld evidence from the defense, including the fact that their eyewitnesses had been coached and that Erickson's account was inconsistent from the very beginning. Missouri Attorney General Chris Costa reviews the case and declines to retry it. There is nothing left to retry. Every piece of testimony has collapsed. Every witness has admitted they were wrong, or worse, that they were lying. On November 12, 2013, Ryan Ferguson walks out of the Jefferson City Correctional Center. He is 30 years old. He has spent nearly 10 years behind bars for a crime that no evidence ever connected him to. His mother is waiting outside. His father, the man who never stopped fighting, is standing right beside her. Ferguson rebuilds his life. He files a lawsuit against the city and county, eventually receiving a settlement. He becomes a vocal advocate for wrongful conviction reform. He hosts a television series on MTV called Unlocking the Truth, investigating other cases of people who may have been wrongfully imprisoned. He speaks publicly about the psychological toll of losing a decade to a dream that was never real. Kent Heitholt's murder, as of today, remains officially unsolved. The fingerprints on his car have never been matched. The DNA has never been matched. Whoever killed him that night has never been held accountable. Think about that for a moment. A man's dream became another man's nightmare, and it lasted 10 years. The evidence was never there. It was never there from the beginning. If you believe the justice system should require proof and not just a story, share this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications. Because next time, we're covering a case where the truth was hiding in plain sight, and nobody wanted to see it.